I think we're smarter than
true. I'll agree to
we're
that
smarter than y'all.
That's true.
Yeah. We develop.
Keep the list coming. You know, don't be humble. keep the list coming.
You know.
Now she about it.
Hey everyone, thank you guys so much for your continuous support and thank you for clicking this video. If you'd like to find more ways to support us, please visit our website at goodconvosonly.com where you'll be able to find our merch and all of our podcast episodes. Welcome back to Eden Talk.
We've been gone for so long.
Yeah, you guys, I'm super excited today. We are going to touch on a lot of interesting topics. Not really. We're just going to have conversations, let you guys know what we've been on, what you guys should expect. But first and foremost, shout out to this food, aka Somali food. It is located on Lake Street, right across Carmel Mall. And it is, what do we have? We have Federation, what we call pasta and rice, or aka sports. If you're Somali and East African, you already know what this is. But for my non-Somali people, Gilbert's basically Somali.
Thank you. Shout out to my Somali brothers and sisters.
But for my non-Somali people, this is something that we typically order almost every time we go to a Somali restaurant. So it'll be rice and pasta. I don't know why we call it sports. That is something I have to research.
Yeah, please do.
That's
and then
something
let
I
us
have
know.
to research why it's called sports.
So you guys remember to ask in the comments so she can answer it.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, and then we have Philly steak and we have fried chicken or chicken drumsticks. We have hot sauce. Us Somalis.
Banana, which...
You eat banana too?
Yeah, of course I had to. I
raised them so well, you guys.
I had to, but you know, we'll answer that question later, why you guys eat, you know, everything with bananas, I should say about.
Exactly.
That's going to be a question later.
But Gilbert and I haven't seen each other for almost 2 months, y'all. So if you're wondering, where have we been? First of all, welcome back this season.
Thank you.
We are on the 31st episode. It's been an amazing journey, a well-needed break. We've been hustling and bustling. I personally took a break from Eden Talk because I was focused on Ramadan. So for those of you who don't know what Ramadan is, it is a holy month in Islam where we get to fast for 30 days or for a month. And that means we don't eat from dawn to sunset. So not the entire day, but yes, no water, no chewing gum, none of that.
No cursing, no listening to bad music.
Yes, no cursing, no listening to bad music. Things that technically we're not even supposed to be doing in general, but just...
No smoking hookah either, so...
None of that, exactly. So yeah, and it's just a time that you actually really get to reflect and like get closer to your creator and spend time with your family. It's like the only time at least my family gets to eat together every single day. So yeah, so it's a special month. Thank you, Gilbert, for...
I had to respect, you know, taking some time away too. So I had to respect me. I wasn't up to anything good. Actually, I was up to a lot.
Gilbert was busy. He was making moves.
I was busy doing? Behind the scenes. You know, we opened, me and my partners, you know, shout out to all of them.
Yeah.
As you guys can see, Club Tantrum. So we were busy getting ready for that. I was just busy with work too and just making sure I respect, you know, my co-host Ramadan season, which I'm glad to have her back. Like she said, I haven't seen her for like probably 2 months.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I haven't seen you, so I missed you. So welcome back.
Oh, I missed you too.
Welcome back.
No, Gilbert's always been very respectful about me practicing Ramadan or whatever I need to do. So I appreciate it. But yeah, definitely you guys check out Tantrum. Where is it located?
Downtown Minneapolis. If you guys know where the Pizza Luce is, it's right across that. You know, we're open Wednesdays, Fridays, and Saturdays. But during the week, we got pizza from 5 to 10 o'clock.
That sounds delicious. So yeah, y'all know where to hit up if you want just good vibes and good food. And
Afro beats. You know, we got brunch coming up too. Memorial Weekend.
Lit.
First brunch we're gonna have is on Sunday, Memorial Weekend.
Yeah.
So we're looking forward to that. So come on and check us out.
That's exciting. No, that's awesome. Definitely go check it out. So I kind of wanted to touch on a little bit of different topics. So when this episode is released, it's going to be like a very important time. And I wanted to just kind of reflect with my co-host about a couple things. George Floyd was murdered. this time, it's been now
It
2 years.
2 years.
And that is
Time flies.
Yeah,
So,
time really flies.
Rest in peace to George
Crazy.
Floyd.
It feels like so long ago, and it feels like it happened yesterday. And there's still a lot of progress to be made. So I just want to know how you felt over the last 2 years, and let's take it back to when the day it happened. What were your emotions, and what were you doing in that moment? How did you find out?
It was through TV. We live in a social media world where everything is filmed. Shout out to the girl that filmed it.
Yeah.
I respect her. She had a lot of courage to be able to film that the whole time. As men, I don't think us men would have stood there and tried to film it. We would have probably tried to intervene with the whole situation. But she's a hero. But to answer your questions, it was through social media that I found out. It was scary because if you sit there and you think about his last breath, it's even if you can hold your breath. Me, I can't hold my breath. I know that. So I don't want to die. So I'll never try holding my breath. But to sit back and just think about it at times that he was there laying there with someone on his neck. I don't want that. I don't wish that on anybody. But for me, I can say that it opened a lot of eyes in Minnesota. For us, minority, it probably opened our eyes a lot to be careful with our environment and how we interact with the social justice and the cops and all that stuff. So.
Yeah, no, definitely. I agree with a lot of you said, especially a shout out to that courageous woman who recorded. I feel like when it comes to police brutality, it's not that it was never common. It's just that now it's being shed to light because of social media and because we have iPhone and camera. Personally, when I saw the events and watched that video, I was distraught because I really couldn't believe someone was just standing on someone's neck for that long.
How many minutes? Was it 5 or 6?
It was in minutes.
Yeah.
Or it was, I gotta look it up, 9 minutes, 27 minutes. But
the point is,
either way, whether it's 5 seconds or if it's, an hour, it's traumatic. And he was doing it in front of many people. Imagine if there wasn't even people there, what type of murder it could have ended up being.
Even if the girl was not there, even her phone wasn't there.
Yeah.
I don't think we would have ever, heard about the story.
Exactly.
It would have probably gone to trial, but we wouldn't have ever.
It was 9 minutes,
it.
I knew it, and 29 seconds.
See? Wow, that's a long.
So just someone, I can't even
even if I sit here and try to hold my breath for 9 minutes, I think I'm
it's insane. And then as a mother, hearing him call out for his mom, that was very emotional, and it was just unbelievable. And so after that happened, and then we had in Minneapolis the uprising.
Yep.
Yeah, and that's when the riots, all of the businesses were destroyed. And there was a lot going on, and where me and Gilbert met, our first job, we worked at a branch together, and almost 6 years ago.
I remember it too, and I think you're the one that sent me the video that it was burning down.
Yeah, and I was like, wow, and I felt very conflicted. I'm not gonna lie though, I really didn't care, but
I cared. That's why I started working.
It was but then it was just kind of I was conflicted because part of me was just I'm upset. This material stuff does not matter to me because everything is going to get right now that place is getting rebuilt. This man is not going to have his life back, and it's we really have to cause a scene for us to get attention and for us to get justice, So I felt conflicted. Because a lot of businesses that were affected were also businesses of BIPOC, of minority, Black businesses, Hispanic businesses, people who really worked really hard to, establish these businesses from the ground. But then again, like I said, these businesses can...
Yeah, shout out to them. I feel like a lot of them are starting to rebuild themselves. But the fact that it's for something like that to happen for the state of Minnesota to be recognized nationwide wasn't good. But
yeah,
it happened. So now everyone knows where Minnesota is.
Yeah, and then we were in the news for the wrong reason. So that kind of like leads us to like why we started this channel.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
At the time that all that was going on, there was a lot of negative news about Minnesota, a lot of negative news about like minorities. Like Twitter was going off, and like it was just a crazy time. Like Trump was transitioning but still in office, and like it was just a lot of negative heat. So Eat and Talk was already born at the time. Like the idea was already planted, but we completely shifted our idea because, and we talked about this in a couple episodes, but we wanted to solely focus on like food and like, like just kind of go around and talk to restaurant owners. But then when we saw all this going down, we were like, like Minnesota is not going down for us and riots and, like all these negative things and making us look bad, because there's so much excellence here. And we wanted to highlight that. So, yeah.
And ever since then, it's been uphill from here.
Yeah.
Yusra and I, Eat and Talk platform has always been for the community, and that will never change. You guys, ever since then, we have people that reach out to us that want to come to the platform.
Yeah.
And shout out to Yusra. She does a good job on, scheduling those times and all that stuff. But we'll get everyone on, when the time is right, and when and the schedules too.
Yeah.
But, you guys, Eat and Talk is for the community. So if you guys ever know of a business that is rebuilding themselves after that riot, and you guys want us to visit them, let us know, DM us, send us emails, or leave a comment under the video, and we'll check the business out.
Yeah, definitely. So I kind of wanted to talk about like our experience with podcasting. I wanted to ask you kind of like what are the struggles of having or running a podcast?
Wow. The struggle was actually being in front of the camera, getting everything ready. Shout out to Nice Guys Corporation, shout out to our broadcast manager behind the scene.
Yes, Steven.
But, the challenges was just the scheduling, finding content. I know Yusra and I used to bounce content back and forth. There were times I would try to start, writing stuff down or think about questions. But one thing that Yusra had always mentioned is like, we want to keep it natural. We want to keep it flow. So that's why some of the conversations are just, they flow in and out because we don't have questions to ask. And that's always been something that Yusra has always stood ground on, because if I give you questions, that if I let you know the question I'm going to ask you, then you're going to be studying those questions. And when I ask them, you're not going to answer them the right way. So, I think the challenges was just, setting up time and recording and finding out the best lighting for Yusra.
Period. Shout out to Tim, because he knows like my lighting is important.
And before broadcast, Yusra and I, we didn't even think about broadcasting at all. Yeah. Like, in the beginning of Eat and Talk, we were going to be more in, live in, restaurants, talking to them and, eating food. Then Yusra had always practiced broadcasting and always talked about it too. So we decided to try it out, and shout out to Yusra for that idea, and look at where we are now, 30 episodes, and we're shooting the 31st episode today.
Yeah.
So how about you?
I think like, I think that the only like main struggle, I don't want to say there's any struggle, but like obstacles is like, there's so many people I just want to interview.
Yes.
So many people I just want to talk to. And then it's just like, where do I start? Yep. Who do I talk to? So many people want to talk to us, which is amazing. We have so many amazing people that reach out to us. So just like scheduling is, I think, a difficult thing for us because we want to make sure that we give everybody the chance to come on here. I love that Eden Talk doesn't just focus on larger influencers, and that we are able to talk to smaller platforms and then watching them grow. I've said this on so many podcast
Shout
episodes.
out to them.
A lot of people that when we first started shooting, like
No.
literally everybody, like if we name it's, I mean, every single person we've done an episode with, from the moment we've done an episode with them to where they are now, has completely like grown. And it's mind blowing, and it's inspirational, and it's beautiful, and I'm just super impressed about it. And so that's why I'm just like, all right, let's keep doing this.
Let's keep going. The momentum is there.
Yeah, the momentum is there. And there's just, and once again, it just shows you all the amazing minority excellence in this freaking state and in the freaking Twin Cities. Like, it's crazy. So yeah, that's like the struggles. I think the easiest part is for me, like I said, like Gilbert said, I don't like scripted interviews. I love conversations. I love hearing their stories. I just want them to forget that there's a camera and a mic there, and I just want them to talk. A lot of people when they first come, they're so nervous. I don't know if you realize that. Yeah. But like they always come and they're like, oh, like it's their first time ever on a podcast. Shout out to everybody we broke their virginity, their podcast virginity.
30 episodes.
Yeah,
so
shout out to everybody
episodes.
who came on. But yeah, I think that's really like the easiest part is just like talking to them. It's just, they make it natural for us, honestly. It's not even us. Like, people just make it super easy for us to talk to them with, so.
And that's something, too, that I think a lot of our guests are just, they're comfortable. And that's one thing that Yusra and I have always, focused on, is making sure that the platform is safe for everyone to feel comfortable. For me, maybe I might ask you risky questions, but Yusra and I have always wanted the platform to be free. Yeah. We're not going to trick you with any questions or anything like that. So.
Yeah, absolutely.
And, my follow-up question is actually like, what advice would you give to someone that wants to start a podcast? Because for me, the reason why I asked that is because there's, people reach out to me and they want to know how we did it, and I give them the best advice I can. But, now that we're live, we can probably answer that question, both of us.
What is the advice you give them?
I'm like, do it.
Yeah.
Like, always like, don't hold back. Like, I get people that, I'm shy. I don't want to be in front of the camera. Look at me. I used to be shy the first episode. You guys can go and see that. So the advice I always give people is like, if you have the idea, just go ahead and start it.
Yeah. And there can never be enough podcasts, to be honest. I know everyone's like, oh my God, like everyone's starting a podcast. I want to start it. Well, how can I be unique? You're unique because you're you. At the end of the day, you're not me and I'm not you. So that's what makes you different. So you start your podcast has nothing to do with any other podcast. So I think that's important for people to remember. And I enjoy watching podcasts, especially podcasts with visuals. Like I can watch people talking and laughing. I think podcasts on YouTube are like my favorite. Just watching people's different emotions, and a lot of people when they start, they start off slow and steady, and then by the end people are laughing, and like it's just amazing watching like the confidence levels like being built and go up. So but yeah, that is similar to you. Like my advice would be just do it. At the end of the day, you're not going to lose anything from it. Another advice that I would give is be consistent. That's something that's important, is be consistent, because we start something and then we just kind of like forget about it. Life gets in the way, which is very normal. But if you make time for like extracurricular activities, like make time for your podcast. People were interested in hearing what you have to say. Like continue, and like your channel will only grow if you are consistent. Like be annoying with it, and just don't give up. Mix it up also, like don't be shy to get out of your comfort zone. If you are a woman-led podcast, like get a different view, maybe get a male view and vice versa. If you're a male-led podcast, it's nice to get a woman view. That's what I like about Eden Talk, is me and Gilbert have sometimes same perspectives, but sometimes we have different perspectives. I'm a woman, he's a man. Yeah. A Muslim, he's not. I'm East African, he's West African. We're a complete opposite, but I think it's dire for that, because it's just good to have like different opinions. So. And
I would touch base on that too. And I always want to give Yusra her flowers. And like I always say, for Eden Talk, I don't think you'll be anywhere without Yusra. When we had the idea, she was ready to go. It was me. And, when she says stay, be consistent, she means it too. Because, like, for me, I used to have ideas. I would throw them at Yusra, and Yusra would tell me, okay, go for it. I'd be like, okay, I'll get to it. I'll get to it. And then Eat and Talk came alive, and, we were consistent about it. And like she said, it's just be diverse, try new things. Always have someone, on your side that you guys can get along. And yeah.
Yeah. So shifting gears a little bit from podcast, now I kind of want to go a little bit personal. I kind of want to know, well, I want our audience to know a little bit more about you, and how is it just like being from a different country, but like identifying as like a Black man, but you are not ancestral enslaved Black. Just how has it been growing up here in Minnesota, and kind of just tell us a little bit about your story.
So a lot of people, I'm pretty sure they look at me and, people are surprised that I'm from Cameroon. I don't know why. I think it's the skin color, but but I'm from Cameroon. Moved to Minnesota back, we came here like back in 2000, I believe. And, I've been through school in Minnesota my whole life. So I started elementary school, junior high, and senior high, and then college. But, being here and, identifying as, I've always wanted to identify as African. I don't like the African American.
So
it's not
that's
me.
Interesting. And I'm glad that you shared that honest answer. So why is that? Because
I'm from Africa.
Okay,
I'm from Africa. I wasn't born here. If I was born here, then I would identify as African American. But I'm from Africa, so I like to identify as that. And for me, sometimes I feel offended when jobs don't have that option. It's either you're Black or you're African American. I feel like jobs you should be proud to be like, I'm African.
Yeah.
And I love where
Some
I come from.
Do.
Yeah, I love where I come from, and I like to identify as African. But throughout school, it's always you always walk around with that edge, like people are watching you, or people are paying attention to what you do, or people are paying attention to what you say.
Yeah.
But for me, I can say I was blessed enough to. I wasn't bullied. I wasn't, I guess I was picked on with the, African booty scratch or whatever.
Were you picked on by whites or Blacks or both?
It was both, the African Americans,
yeah.
And then the whites. And, you always get that questions like, did you guys come from a hut, or did you see lions in your backyard and all that stuff? And, and those are all interesting questions that would always, intrigue people when you answer them. And sometimes I'll be like, well, why don't you visit Africa someday and find out for yourself?
Yeah.
But, I can say I was blessed.
Yeah.
And I can still say I live in a land full of opportunities, and look at where we are right now. We had the opportunity to start a podcast together. So, in America, if you dream it, go for it.
100%. Yeah. No, I agree with that. So, now you brought up like an interesting point, and I think it's a lot of people like don't realize that there is a difference between like African Americans and African. But at the same time, do you feel like you would identify under the umbrella of Black, or would you prefer to be identified as just strictly African?
African, I don't. For me, Black is just a word, But African, I would like to, be identified as African, because I'm proud to be African.
Yeah. Do you feel like you have been being identified as that growing up in America, or do you feel like it's always like?
It's always been the African American.
Yeah.
It's always been the African American. It's never been African. It's always been the African American.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with African Americans, but
just to make
we all have our own preference on what we want to identify. And there's other people out there that do feel offended if you call them African American. They're proud to be like, just call me African.
Yeah, and vice versa. I think too. Yeah. There's a lot of African Americans who identify solely as Black and African, like American,
Yeah.
you know, so that's just
Keep the questions coming, because when it's your turn, I'm gonna.
That's an interesting. No, that's it. That's you can go ahead now. That's just an interesting perspective, because that is something that comes up a lot. And you know, in race theory, I'm always curious because I always get different answers when I ask this to my peers, and so I just really wanted to kind of know like what you identified as. So that's interesting.
Proud African, Cameroonian.
Cameroon.
You know,
shout out to Cameroon.
Yeah. But my question for you more is, you know, what is a difficult thing? Like, how difficult has it been growing up as a woman in America? Ooh. Not only identifying as Somali or African American or Black.
Yeah.
What has been like the biggest challenge growing up as a woman in America?
Everything, because I feel like we have to work 10 times harder as a woman. We don't get paid the same as men at all in the corporate field. I feel like we're not taken as serious as men, whether we want to start a business or we're looking for any type of like expertise. I feel like we're sexualized a lot more. It's very hard to hold general conversations with your type.
I don't know why she had to look at me to say that.
Because you're a man.
Look at Tim too. Like, look at the camera.
I'm
don't
looking
look
at
me.
Aliel, but no. At the end of the day, I mean, it's just a struggle, yeah. But at the end of the day, I think it's also a very powerful thing being a woman. I'm glad I'm a woman. I'd rather be a woman more than a man any day. I think we have more rewards than men. I think we're smarter
That's
than
true. I agree.
We're smarter than y'all.
That's true.
Yeah. We develop.
Keep the list coming. You know, don't be humble. keep the list coming.
You know,
now she about to talk down on us, man. But
no,
let her do it.
Our brains develop faster than you guys.
Okay, I'll let you. She can have that one.
Like, yeah, maybe
don't
we're more emotional, but we're also a lot more logical. I feel like. We just make smarter.
Tim, you gotta back me up.
We make smarter and better decisions. Yeah, you know, it's just so it's like it's the pros. There's pros and cons.
It seems like there's a lot of pros on the women's side than the men's side.
But yeah, I guess like, yeah, I mean that's just the only thing is I don't know. I think I said everything I had to say, but yeah, I mean the struggle, and then there's just like struggles like being pregnant and stuff like that, and having our periods. Like that's something you guys don't have to deal with. That's a struggle we go through. I'm
gonna look at Tim there, but because
you know,
I got nothing to say.
You know, we carry y'all for 9 months and whatnot. Or
shout out to all the moms out there that carried us. You know, shout out to all the moms.
So yeah,
I appreciate
but
you guys.
I love being a woman. I'm grateful. Thank God I'm a woman. Like.
Most men can say the same thing too. Thank God we're men in some cases, but
no, shout out to our men too, honestly. But you know, I really want to say though, like, shout out to us African Black men and women. Like, I just think that we just need to hold each other down. Like, I think, and men and women in general, but we're stronger when we're together. You know that? Like, when we're a team.
That's very true.
We go farther. I feel like without, for example, I'll just talk about like my parents for an example. Like my dad, shout out to him. He's an amazing father. But
shout out to all the fathers out there.
Shout out to all the fathers. But without my mom, like.
Tim, here she goes
without
again.
My mom, like, no. And then honestly, vice versa, because my dad is an amazing human being, and without my dad,
shout out to both of them. They raised a very beautiful woman.
Thank you. No, shout out to my parents. Shout out to yours too. You know, but I use them as an example for everything. Like, they are the reason that like I thrive, and if I only had my mom by herself, I'm sure I'd be okay, and if I only had my dad, I'm sure I'd be okay. But I'm great because of them and the like kingdom that they raised me in together. Like, it's so powerful. And I think it's really sad because like society tries to break us apart. And when I say us, I mean like minority and Black and African households. Like the system is meant for you guys to fail.
That's true.
And, so once again, like, stick with your Black woman, stick with your African woman, so whatever you identify as, because we hold shit down. That's the advice that I want to give you.
Don't be humble.
That's the advice I want to give you. That's the advice I want to give you. But yeah.
But before I ask, I actually have two questions for you. So the first one would be, what advice would you give a young female right now? And I feel like, for me, this advice has to be important because I feel like social media is kind of giving the young females a mixed feeling and mixed idea on what a woman in this generation have to be. So for a child in, I should say elementary school, not elementary school. How about high school? Because I think high school, that's when you're actually starting to grow up and identify yourself. So what advice would you give a woman now in this time of social media?
Yeah, definitely. When I was in high school, like, there was definitely social media, but like, it wasn't overpowering the way it does now. Like, it wasn't leading anything. Like, there were no, like, men were coming up to us in person and asking what's up. Now y'all just don't have balls and just come up into the messages.
Why is she treating us like this? She's exposing us.
But no, in all seriousness, that's a very deep question, and my advice could probably take for hours. Like, if I were to sit with a little sister, there's so much that I would tell her. But I think overall, like, you already kind of brought up the point, what you see on social media shouldn't guide or lead you to a path in your life.
Yes.
Almost everything on social media is bullshit. Like, excuse my language.
Talk your shit.
People only want to post their successes. People only want to post them looking at their best. People only, it's just the bodies on social media are not real. People edit their pictures. People get surgeries, like, whatever you call it. Men too. Y'all be getting BBLs nowadays. That's weird as hell.
I don't know about that.
There's just a lot going on. Fake abs, fake hairlines, fake beards, fake teeth, everything. But anyways,
she sounds like she's been studying us.
I'm not trying to attack men. I love you guys. But anyways, no, and at the end of the day, like, the people that you look up to should be the people who you know in real life, not someone you've never met. So I'm sure, like, celebrities can inspire you. Like, there's a lot of celebrities and people who make money that inspire me to, like, go and get money. But the people who I actually, like, look up to are, like, my grandparents, my teachers, like, people who have actually shown me different lessons, whether they were good or bad. And that's really important. And then at the end of the day, also, like, looks aren't everything. Like, I said this before, shout out to Nicki Minaj. I think that's the one, celebrity. She's a down-ass bitch. I'm sorry, excuse my language. But, like,
Ramadan is over, so curse all you want.
But, like, no, there's, that lyric where she said, I could be all the way covered and still giving sexy. That's so true, because you don't have to. And, I mean, I'm not judging anyone. Be beautiful, show off, flaunt off what makes you feel confident. But at the end of the day, just, like, save some of that, like, I think I'm trying to, like, carefully word my words here right now
before we all get canceled.
But I'm just saying, like, everything is not about the outside.
That's very true, and I agree to that, because I feel like, us men, for me, I can speak for myself. At one point in growing up, looks was important to me, but the older you get, you realize that the looks is not all that. It's, she can be as beautiful in the outside, but in the inside, what is she? So I like the fact that you said that, just save some.
Yeah.
And that's one thing, too, that, that's the reason why I asked that question, was because I do believe social media is, proving to these girls that, the makeup and all this stuff, the surgeries and all this. But to be honest, God made you beautiful. You just have 100%. To accept that fact that you are beautiful.
Yeah.
And run with it.
And the main thing is, overall, take care of your health, women. Take care of your health, ladies. Like, you just know that you are that bitch. Like, take care of yourself. Just know that you are worthy. You're a queen. You're just on top of everything. And I think just reminding ourselves like who we are, and not feeling down because we feel like we're not enough or someone, or we're wasting our time. And I'm not talking about like relationship wise, like even friendships. Like, if you have a friend who is putting you down subliminally, or saying things that causes you to feel insecure, and they're not lifting you up, or inspiring you, or trying to make money with you, or whatever the case is, like you gotta get rid of them. But taking care of your well-being, taking care of your hygiene, it's not all about up here. Like, just take care of yourself. Like, that's the advice I have for girls in high school. Do not lose yourself in the sauce, because the sauce is expired, baby. Like, focus on your future and focus on the present, and just, yeah, you get the gist.
And I think that advice goes to men too. I'm talking to my kings now. That, the same thing she said about females is the same thing that applies to men too. For us men, we have to take good care of our health as well too. And, don't get buried in, seeing Gucci's and all that stuff and thinking you got to wear designers to be able to attract the right person. Mm-hmm. Think mentally, think future, because that's your future is what is going to, raise your family. Mm-hmm. And, so, health comes first. They always say health is wealth. So, I agree with Yusra with all that. The same advice that she gives the women is the same advice that us men have to take. And just, and for us, coming from a man, I feel like we should do better in, treating our queens with the utmost respect. I feel like some of us do a lot of disrespect here and there. Mm-hmm. But, from a man's perspective, I do think that we do have to do better, in respecting them and, making sure that they're healthy, making sure that we show them the respect, because they brought us to this earth. There's nothing we can ever say to a woman and, that would make us feel in power or higher than they are, because, if we, at the end of the day, it's a woman that brought you on earth. So show them the respect that, you get. Before all you guys start saying, oh, Gilbert, I know you're not talking that because you're disrespectful. I used to.
What?
I'm a changed man now.
Say that? Gilbert, you're like the most respectful. I kid you not. Gilbert is the most respectful person I've ever met. So who's gonna say that? Do I know? Is there a different side of you?
I don't know.
Let me find out.
Growth. Growth is key. So
this is news to me, you guys. I apologize. If he's ever disrespected you, please message me right now. I need to hear this. That's crazy. But no, I love that advice. And that's so true. Like, same thing with young men. I think it's very easy for a young man in high school to get lost too, because social media is very impactful to both of them. Because also, they feel I think men are always like flashy and like on social media. And so people are like, damn, how come I don't have like red bottoms? How come I don't have like that new Tesla? How come I don't have this and that? How come I'm not like on a jet? Like, like all those things, and it's just like a lot of it is fake. He took a picture in front of the Tesla at the gas station. That's not his car, but it's okay. Like, we need to expose the reality.
The Bow Wow challenge.
Literally, it's a lot of Bow Wow challenges going on. And then there's also not non-Bow Wow challenge men who have worked very hard. Yes. And they do deserve and they do have the right to post, like, because that's another thing, actually, is I think, me personally, I told you, and I talk about this, a boy brought it up in one of his episodes too. I believe in evil eye. I told you this. So I don't think it's good to flaunt stuff that is going well and great and good for you.
Yes.
Especially like before it happened, or like whatever the case is. I think there is unintentional jealousy. And I'm talking about, when I say unintentional, it's not like someone is purposely hating on you. It's just like someone could be like, damn, like, I wish I had that and I don't have it. And it's just like, or like, it's, for example, let's just say like we're eating food right now, and please, like, may Allah protect us, no one does evil eye, but like, let's say there's someone who can't afford this food and can't eat, and they're watching it, and like those type of things is very real, and so it's good relationships. If it's going good for you, like, keep it private. If you like made a lot of money, like, keep it private. Like, a lot of things I just feel like you should keep private if it's important to you. That's my personal opinion. It doesn't go for everyone, but I don't judge anyone who decides to show off because they worked hard for it, and they have every right to be like, hey, I fucking worked hard for this for no one to see. Like, I'd love to show off, you know.
Yeah, but you're right when you said that, you know, for the people that work hard, you guys have the past to, you know, show it off. You work hard for it and you deserve the respect. But, you know, just always remember the evil eye and, you know, keep on doing what you're doing best. But at the same time, do remember that there's just not a lot that you can show to people and they'll like it. It looks bad sometimes because someone might be looking at you like you're super rich, you're showing off this stuff, but they're not praying for you. They're probably just wishing for your downfall. So don't watch what you portray out there.
Yeah, definitely. Well, in that note, I think that's kind of like, I mean, I could go on and on, but that's kind of like all I had to touch you on about.
I think that's all we have for them too. It's like a lot of people do ask for this one-on-one, you know, for you and I to always do this little episodes, just you and I, and it's always nice.
If you guys ever have like topics that because I mean, mainly we do interviews, but if you have topics that you just want to hear our opinions on, please feel free to message us, comment, and like just let us know what you'd like to hear. Before
we end, you know, I know you're doing a lot for the community, Yusra. You're doing a lot. I'm proud of you. But can you tell us what you're doing now for the community?
Yeah, so I have shifted.
Don't be humble.
My roles.
Don't be humble.
I was working at the same financial institution that Gilbert was working on for a really long time. And now I am working for Lake Street Council as part of the community engagement team.
Proud of this woman.
As a business advisor. And I'm super happy and I'm super blessed. I was serving on the board prior to me accepting role as a staff member. I support small businesses on Lake Street. And so if you see me on Lake Street, that's pretty much where I am every day. Say hi. But yeah, I enjoy it. My role previously was working with businesses that were making $5 to $25 million, and I just didn't feel like it was rewarding, and I feel like I wasn't benefiting anything from it. I really missed working with small businesses, people in the community. So I work with the businesses that were affected by the uprising from the murder of George Floyd, as well as businesses that were affected by the pandemic. So if you are a small business on Lake Street, please feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions. I would love to share resources with you. Where we are right now is a business on Lake Street. Shout out to Nice Guys Corporation. And a couple of people that we've interviewed here, like Peer Pressure Fitness is on Lake Street. Slice Minneapolis is opening in Midtown Global Market, hopefully Juneteenth weekend, and I'm excited that hopefully we're gonna have them on our podcast soon. So check, and that's where I'm at too, Midtown Global Market. Check us out, 2929 Chicago Ave. Amazing food. Shout out to The Kitchen by Baked. I am obsessed with their meals. I get it all the time. I don't think I'm ever going to get sick of it. They have Fruity Pebbles French toast. They have the butter bowl, mac and cheese, just amazing food, as well as other great small business restaurants in there. So yeah, basically that's it. Thanks. But I want to really say shout out to Gilbert though for holding it down, because everyone asked me damn, okay, who's going to help me with my small businesses? You don't work there anymore. And I'm like, Gilbert. And Gilbert is a staple financial advisor in the community. He has a lot of knowledge on small businesses. So if you need assistance with any financial institution questions related to small business or even personal,
that's true.
Yeah, Gilbert is the person to hit up. He's a great contact, and I'm still partnering with him. If I don't work at a bank anymore, so I can't offer loans or specific advice. I send them to Gilbert. So that's the guy. We're
here for the community.
Yeah,
we're here.
Exactly. But yeah, I'm really excited. Moving forward, we're gonna have a lot of great episodes coming to you. I really want to interview more women in our community, so you're definitely gonna see a lot more women coming up here in the next few weeks, as well as more young men and more people in our community just making a difference here in the Twin Cities. So really excited for you guys to see who we interview, the stories that we share, and I'm sure like Gilbert and I are going to be very active this summer.
Yes, we are.
Out in the community.
Send your requests and your time
to
get on.
Exactly. We're booked and busy, so but we're blessed. So yeah. Thanks everyone for watching.
Next episode coming.
Yes.
Thank you guys.
See you next time. We're about to eat now because I can't eat on camera.
I'm trying to be cute.
Trying to be cute.
And we forget to eat.